Hey, are we here? Are we
Yeah, we're
back?
here.
We're back, 2024. Jason, my friend, Aaron, I'm here. We're here to talk about the Sooner Nation Fantasy Football League. Wow, Jason, welcome back.
Thanks, buddy. It's good to be
Yeah,
here. I'm super pumped. I can't wait to hear about the draft because that's what this show is going to be about. It's going to be about the draft.
the draft
So,
recap.
yeah.
Let me start real quick by I wrote a note down in my show notes and I wrote it on March 21st. I'm
Okay.
writing this note in March, knowing we aren't recording a show for several more months. I want you and the viewers to understand what kind of lunatic you're dealing with here. It's March, and I'm daydreaming about how I hope the Vikings don't bring in anybody better than Sam Darnold and completely sweep the leg of your Justin Jefferson acquisition. There's almost 6 months until NFL games, and I'm giggling thinking about how bummed out you're going to be with Sam Darnold. And then the oh, I think I lost you. Are you there? Okay,
No,
yeah, there you
I'm here.
go.
I just took the screen down.
Okay.
This is too good of content to have some slide over it.
Yeah. The only other thing, I also wrote like a parody trash talk song set to Roses by
Chain smokers.
no who's that fella that sang Hey Ya? Outcast.
Oh,
Roses by
yeah,
Outcast.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's like Carolina. I know you like to think Tolkien don't stink, but Lena, I don't know. I had a whole song worked out, but we don't get that. He's not Tolkien anymore.
That's a huge, huge move. It's not often that somebody changes the name or logo. We've had a logo
Yeah.
change, we've had a team name change. So, 28
Yeah.
years in, some freshness, some league freshness for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, draft is concluded. Hope rings eternal as every team can, they can envision a path to the championship. This is the golden time right now. We're all champions right now, Jason.
We are all
Uh,
champions on day zero. We haven't even
yeah,
started day one yet. This is day zero.
yeah.
We just started the process. So
Do you want to talk about what it was like drafting remotely, or do you
I
want to
do,
just
I
kick through
do,
the
but
draft?
I got a few slides to get to. I got a few,
Okay, sure,
I got a few slides to get to just for the
sure. Okay, well,
program.
let's just get on with it then. Let's get
Uh,
it on.
because
Look at those guys.
look, I want to say thanks to you guys for one taking the picture when I wasn't there and then sending it to me. It was awesome. It was so incredible to be able to uh have some of those
Oh, good.
because well, I gotta talk through some moments. So this is the third year of our show. If you
Is
remember
it?
back to 2022, we had the first year of the Zoom show. This was my highlight. My favorite moment of the show was when Chris took you out uh, and you came back injured in 2022. My favorite moment of 2023 happened at the draft. You created
Oh,
an
yeah, that
image
was
that
nice.
became the image for the whole year, and it was just kind of an unbelievable image, including, of course, Brad Moore on the far left. This image will just live in infamy for the rest of our days. And I hope
Yeah.
that when one of us dies, it's in our slideshow for our for at funeral and our memorial service. And I wanted to show
Oh,
a couple of pictures here.
children.
This will lead into our sponsor.
Hmm.
Uh, so you were looking through some old photos yesterday and sent me a photo, and then I was just happened across this photo yesterday. This is from you and I in 2004, 20 years ago. And then you sent me a
Oh, yeah.
picture today of you and I 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And so here we are today, uh, 20 years later after that meeting in a fantasy football league that has existed for 28 years.
Man.
And I don't know where the time goes, but I feel like this episode in particular is sponsored by the 2008 movie Step Brothers.
Oh, that's cute.
Because Aaron, we are not brothers, but because of a particular draft that happened with pick 1.4 and pick 2.8, there happens to be a connection between you and I that has even strengthened the
It's
bond even
beautiful.
more. Caleb to Rome, Aaron to Jason.
Man.
What a
Yeah.
moment in the draft. What a moment. I can't wait to talk about it. But this is
Mm.
2024 and season
Yeah.
28 for the SoonerNation Fantasy Football League. Welcome to the league. Welcome to all the viewers. And of course, a special not welcome to senior pastor of OKC First Church of the Nazarene, John Middendorf, who will never watch this show. And so we won't know what we're talking about. So that is
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
our
That's production
intro
value.
for the recap show.
Yeah.
And Aaron, I wasn't there, so we had a draft. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. Regarding that picture, you have no
yeah,
idea that took us half an hour to figure out. Without you there to guide us through the picture process, we didn't know where to stand. We didn't know who was going to take it.
You
Do we
didn't
do a
bring a
timer? Do we
tripod?
do Chad's long arm?
Yeah, you didn't bring a
No,
tripod.
no.
I mean, what kind of production is this?
I know, I know. Well, we were there. We need you to guide us through these things. Like you're our photographer. You're official league photographer for sure.
Well, it was so nice to many of the league members reaching out, telling me that they missed me. And of
Hmm.
course, I hope the worst of luck to the guys that didn't reach out and say anything. So I I I missed it, man. It
Yeah.
I have a story when we get to my first draft pick. But did you want to have any commentary? Because I missed it. You said you were gonna. I like wanted to call you. We texted and you said
Yeah.
let's save it for the show. So I've
Yeah.
been dying to know. Like, tell us about your decision at 3. Did you think you were going to get Neighbors because Caleb was going to be taking 1 or 2? And was it a quick decision, or did you think about going somewhere else?
I mean, all summer I assumed I was going wide receiver.
Yeah,
I thought for sure Harrison and Caleb would go some order of 1 and 2.
me too.
Like to me, that was the clear 1 and 2, and then to me there was a clear 3 and 4 between Neighbors and Adunze.
Yes.
And to me that was always the thing. And I'll tell you, up until the Wednesday before the draft, I was going to take Caleb, or I was going to take Rome.
You're going to take.
Rome was my guy.
Yeah.
And then on the Thursday, I was like, do I think I'm smarter than the entire NFL that drafted Neighbors over Rome? Do I think I'm smarter than the entire fantasy industry is drafting Rome like way earlier than Caleb or than Rome? Neighbors over Rome. Neighbors was being drafted way earlier than Rome in the fantasy. So I was like, do I think I'm smarter than everybody like that? And obviously, I love the situation for Rome and God, who wants Daniel Jones throwing him balls? But ultimately, I was like, well, I got to go Neighbors. I got to,
Yeah.
and I was great. I was happy. That was going to be a great pick. At the draft, I thought maybe 5% chance Caleb falls. At the draft, Mendenhall told me, he goes, I think Caleb's falling to you. He said Brandon's taking Neighbors, so he knew.
Wow.
John was plugged in.
Wow.
I couldn't let him fall. I mean, and Burrow's pissed. I mean, he's mad, but
I was going to wonder how you felt about Joe. He got the haircut. He's ready for the new season.
I mean, I feel like he's great. I feel like he's going to be good, but I mean, it is an unprecedented wrist injury.
Yeah, it is.
Jamar Chase decided to hold out again today.
Yeah.
So Caleb Williams is just the ultimate insurance policy for me. And Shiesty, feisty Joe Burrow, he's my guy, but I got a nice side chick now, so we'll see.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so
Yeah.
I want to look at some more of the rest of the round, but I guess I can bring up Rome right now. But let's look at the rest of the first round. There's no sense. Because I'm just curious. How was the food? How was it having Jeremy Carr back in the room?
Fantastic.
Anything like that we need to know? Yeah.
Jeremy Carr looks like the kingpin these days. He's just like, and the food was really good. We had some ribs, we had pork, we had chips and dips and cookies, and my dad showed up for the rib part eating, so that was fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, former league champion of the Toadsuckers.
Yeah.
He came in and talked to people, and he ducked out before the draft started because why would you stay? Jaden Daniels at 4 really surprised me. I did not have him nearly that high, but I got the impression around the room a lot of other guys did.
Okay.
I know that destroyed Chad's draft strategy. Chad was planning on Jaden there at 7.
Oh, I love this. I love this stuff. I didn't hear any of this. Yeah. Tell me more.
Yeah. So, Chad, I went on a drive with Chad and Jeff. I went on a lonely 4 with Chad and Jeff and Jeremy after the draft.
Oh,
And
man. I love it.
Yeah, I got to hear like from both of them, like, oh, I took him. Oh, I wanted him. You ruined my plan.
Well, because the Rompers, Carr, and Brandon had most of the picks in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, they were just gobbling up players.
How did my auto drafting work when I get to the second round? Because that was a question I had about like, was the pick gonna happen, or did it have to take the whole 2 minutes, or what?
It
I
took 2 minutes. Yeah,
every
eventually
time
we
I
figured
picked.
out. Chris figured out he could just go in and tap your next player.
Oh,
Uh,
okay, okay.
yeah.
He may have cheated, but uh, what what
Yeah,
about
you wouldn't know it based on his draft.
okay? So I'll tell my story about Rome.
Yeah,
Uh, so you and I had talked about the draft, and you're like, I don't want to talk to you about the draft because I don't want to spoil any of my thoughts about, like who I'm going to pick. And I said, Aaron, I'm not picking until 18. There's no way, uh, there's no way that there's any sort of sense that I'm going to get a chance to pick somebody like Rome. So we go back and forth, and I told you how much I loved Rome. Like I was like, oh, I think he's going to be the best. I think he's the big dynasty pick. And
yeah.
we talked about how Neighbors and Harrison, of course, right now in the world are so valued, so much higher than Rome. But I watched Rome just torch the Ducks
Yeah.
for the last 2 seasons, especially, and just think he's really special, even though he's the third option. And in a dynasty like ours, I was just like, this guy's going to be, incredible. Although I think Neighbors is going to be great, and Harrison. It's just super
There's
exciting.
not a wrong answer there.
No, these three guys.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so the night before the draft, I'm thinking I'm not going to be able to be part of all of it. So I rank my top 100 players, and that's hard to do on that site.
Oh
I'm just
yeah.
doing the best I can. I'm sure I forgot multiple players, but I was like, I'm not going to get a chance to draft any of these guys because I'm got the 18th pick. I don't have a first rounder or a third rounder. So I put my 100 players in a row. I rank them. And I'm out on a golf resort in Oregon called Bandon Dunes. I'm looking at the Pacific Ocean. I'm with some of my best friends in the world, and I log onto the app with like 14% battery power left because I'm taking pictures of the Pacific Ocean all day. And I log on, and I'm like, I just want to show you how this is going to work. And I happen to log on right when it's my pick, and I look at my queue. There are no players in my queue, and I'm like, I just panic. I absolutely panic because I'm like, no, I'm gonna be taking like the top player from RT Sports or get skipped. So I look at my thing and I've got 2 minutes to make this pick, and I see that George Pickens is there. And I'm like, oh my God, George Pickens. I had him ranked in my top 10 and he's available at 18. So I start texting Chris and you and Carr, like, I want Pickens, I want Pickens, I want Pickens, because I thought that I would get nobody. I thought I might
Yeah.
get skipped or something might happen. So I'm in the most beautiful place in the world, Southern Oregon, on a golf course, playing a par 3, and I'm panicked at my fantasy football team that's going to just not draft anybody. And so I've not told anybody this story. This is the breaking news. And I send those texts frantically. I see my pick get skipped, and my heart just drops. Then I somehow go and I look, and I'm like, oh, how in the world? How is 17 people picked in this draft, and the player I ranked at 4 on my countdown of my top 100 is still available? And I got to tell you what, the rest of the draft, I did not care. I was like, my next pick's not for 30 picks. I'm gonna enjoy being with my friends. Apparently, my auto draft or my Q draft is actually set up and working. I panicked a little bit about that, but I wanted to share with the league my ranking list. You can see on the left side,
Oh, you
you
had
can see on the
Daniels up
left of these
there.
numbers, like the black numbers are where I had them ranked in my top 29. And then you've got the where they were actually picked in the red. And so you go, Caleb goes 3, Harrison goes 1, Malik goes 2, and then Rome goes 18 to me. And I just was shocked at, I would love to see everybody's draft board because there are certain players that I value highly. Like, look at Blake Corum. I have ranked 10. He goes 38.
Yeah.
If Charbonnet, who it means more to me than other players, I get him all
Yeah.
the way at 42, and I had him as my 12th ranked player. And so in the same way, like, I really like Rashee Rice. He goes way later than expected. Same with Keenan
Yeah.
Allen over here. And there's certain players that I just didn't think. So we don't have to spend much time on this, but I just wanted to show you like how much I liked Rome and how shocked I was when he showed up
Yeah.
on my list. So it was a very adventurous draft for me. About every other hole I played, I would come back and look and see who I got on my team. It was a big surprise. When you're ranking like that, I looked back at the draft and realized like, oh, I had too many running backs. I would have probably drafted a wide receiver instead of somebody. And oh,
Yeah.
I didn't get a backup quarterback that I liked. I would have done that instead of a seventh running back or whatever, because
Yeah.
when
You
you're making
can't.
those, you can't really make changes to that list as you're going on. But again,
Yeah.
my phone battery at that time was in the red at like 6%. And I was trying to be present with my buddies, and it ended up being I couldn't do. But it definitely was a memorable draft for sure.
Yeah.
Um, I'll never forget it. I don't ever want it to happen again. Uh, and it was great. So just wanted to welcome Rome to the team. Super excited to have him alongside of Nico
And
and Justin Jefferson for the next 10 years. So that's my
I'm
story. We'll see how it goes.
I'm devastated that you got him. Of all people. I If it couldn't be me, there are 10 other teams I would have chosen. And he kept falling. And he
Tell me
kept
how you were
falling.
feeling when he
He
kept
kept
falling.
falling. And all these people are taking all these other rookies, even. They were drafting. There's like 6 rookies got taken before him. You nimrods. And he's just falling. And I'm sitting there like, well, I got to pick, at 10. Ah, I just, I wish I would have like tried to package my 2 and 3 or 2 and 3 together and get somebody in here to trade with me. But it was happening too fast. It was all happening too fast.
Oh, you know what? That's interesting. There might be something in the future where you could be like, everybody gets 1 minute timeout, and if you
Like a
get picked,
pause.
you can pause the draft. Because I'm sure you noticed this. 8 wide receivers go in the first 8 picks of the second round. I mean, 1 through 8 are all wide
Yeah.
receivers. And I thought that was shocking. Of course, so many rookies just running that gauntlet. And I was shocked that you had three rookie wide receivers go ahead of Rome. But you know what? This is when it's fun, because it's going to be fun to look back at this, because if he's a bust
Oh yeah.
and all of a sudden Xavier Worthy actually turns out to be the speedster that Pat needs, or, uh, Lad ends up being just great with Herbert, you're like, well,
Yeah. And now we've recorded this, so
yeah, what a
people
dumb
can play
show.
back what idiots
Yeah.
we are
Yeah,
forever. Yeah.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so I want to know, just what did you think? Anything in the third round, but then you're going to give us a team by team breakdown um, that you wanted to comment on before we did it, or do you want to do that within the team breakdown?
I could go either way.
Well, let me ask you a
It's
question about this, because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
give a specific.
I had Chubb ranked much higher and was really surprised he fell all the way to you. Would you
Yeah.
how did you feel about this pick in particular? Is this one you're pretty proud of?
I had a little remorse for it just because I don't know. I don't know if he's going to come back.
Okay.
But before Josh ever had him, he was my boy.
Okay.
And so this felt
Yeah.
like it felt like the story was like the next chapter. Now he's coming home. And he's so great when he can play. But I did have a little remorse. I
Okay. Did you
uh
who do you think you would have, now you don't have to admit, because the season hasn't started, trades can still be made
yeah,
all season long. But did you have any like, I wish I would have gone with blank in this spot?
not necessarily. No, I
Okay.
mean there's nobody that went right there. I I was so thrown by having Caleb,
Yeah.
and then the Rome thing happens with you before my next pick. So all in that one span, I get the player I wasn't expecting, and then
Right.
I think I'm gonna still get the other guy I wanted, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe this is gonna work. And then it didn't happen, and then I was just like, meh. so uh, so I took Najee Harris. I
Yeah, I
mean,
see that here.
I think he's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Arthur Smith, I think he's gonna run the heck out of him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, but and like I said, there's like you just said, there's a huge run on receivers already. Um,
Absolutely.
so I felt like running back was the way to go there. But
Yeah.
uh,
And we can,
uh,
this is rounds 4 through 7. We don't have to look at this.
yeah,
Obviously, you're going to give us a team by team breakdown, but a couple of the picks I really liked in the top of the fourth was Blake Corum and Bucky Irving before
yes,
Charbonnet. I had those ranked higher than Charbonnet, and I would have been thrilled to have either of those rookie running backs. And I mean, getting a
yeah,
second year guy behind Walker's not bad for me, but I really like. I mean, he's an Oregon Duck. Bucky Irving is someone who I was really, I was hoping I could get him in the third, and I was like, that's probably going to be taken before that. But to see much later, like later that night in the evening when I go back and look at the draft, to see that I was 2 picks away from
How
him,
close? Yeah.
I would have been kind of crushed in the moment, if that makes any sense. Like to look back and see, like, oh my gosh, I would have had those butterflies in your stomach when you think a player's falling to you, and then he gets sniped right before you. There's actually
Yeah, I know that feeling.
it's a great and terrible feeling at the same time. Like you live for moments like
Yeah,
that. You live for moments like that. So I do want to say one pick at the top of the fifth, and we can say this when we break down your team, but I love Jalen Wright, and I think that anybody in
mm,
Miami is pretty exciting, and I think that they can maybe even rotate through running back. So I was
yeah.
disappointed to see you get him, to be honest. So
Good, good. So a little back.
yeah, but
Yeah.
you want to break down each team.
Yes. Yeah.
We'll have
Not a
team.
lot. I can say a little bit.
Okay, yeah,
Um, like with Chad, like I personally would rather have built a foundation around Caleb Williams and Nico Collins if I'm Chad. But I can't trash talk Justin Herbert and Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean that is potent too.
yeah,
So um, I think Herbert's going to be better than he's being drafted right now. Outside of Harrison, I really like Chad's pick of Jaden Reed and Bucky Irving.
yeah,
But as far as least favorite picks, he took Zamir White 7th overall.
yeah.
I mean, that is the chattiest pick he's ever made. What an abomination. Ah, I mean, that's the kind of pick where you're like you kind of fist pump under the table because you're like, well, now I know somebody I wasn't picking is not like that's one more guy for me.
Right. He was not ranked in my top 30. Uh,
Yeah.
and when I saw he went 7, especially with players like, but for me, Brock Bowers right there to get a tight end
Yes.
for the net for the rest of your, to
Yes.
potentially replace Rob Gronkowski, who we know, of course, was owned by Chad for the entirety of seemingly his career. It
Yeah.
was a big shocker to me too. Big shocker to me too.
Yeah. Um, you can
Oh,
go on to Brandon now.
yeah, I'll go.
Yeah, I think I mean Malik Neighbors is special and he's awesome and I 100% see the appeal because I really thought I was getting him and I was excited to have him.
Yeah.
But man, I can't believe Brandon has ridden Trevor Lawrence for 3 seasons. And he was ranked 22nd with Urban Meyer. He had a 10th place season and then 12th place last season. So Brandon's had a 22, a 10, and a 12 in a league where, I mean, quarterback makes the difference here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's like, nah, I'll take the receiver. I don't know.
Well,
There was less than a point.
what a powerhouse at CMC Malik and Garrett Wilson though.
Now
Like,
that's awesome. I do love the rest of his team, but I just to keep pooping on Trevor Lawrence one more minute. There is a it was less than a point per game difference last season between Trevor Lawrence and David Carr.
oh,
Are those guys even considered anywhere near each other? No, no. I just can't believe Brandon set through all that, but grabbing Neighbors sets up an awesome storyline. Like if Garrett Wilson and Neighbors are both awesome, you could see the media getting this like, who's the best wide receiver in New York? And
yeah.
Brandon can just sit back and be like, well, they're both my team. It's like it'd be fun to have both guys in that conversation. And like you just brought up Bowers. I love the Bowers pick. He was probably my number 5 if I was picking fifth.
Yeah,
Um,
he was in my top 10.
yeah, and Brandon's got the tight end depth where he can just let him develop if he needs to.
Right.
Like
Right.
he's stacked at tight end, really. I
Yeah.
mean, he doesn't have like the A+ guy yet, but he's got like who knows? Maybe Taysom Hill's playing quarterback half the.
Yeah.
Brandon could be really dangerous at tight
Yeah.
end. Tank Dell, JSN, like Smith and Jigba, like he's got some really good like young guys that could. Uh, I think this is as deep a wide receiver core as anybody in the league has.
Yeah.
So getting Montgomery at 12 was great. Did not love Calvin at 13.
Didn't
Calvin Ridley
either.
at 13, I thought was a bad pick, but pretty good, pretty good. I would have played it differently, but I think Brandon's going to be really tough to deal with for a while.
I think that his quarterback's Matthew Stafford. I mean, I know he kept Trevor Lawrence, but I think by the mid-season, I think he's starting Stafford with confidence. I
Yeah, he's
and Yeah,
We're making a trade.
he's got a good team and he's got depth. He traded some significant pieces to get those draft picks.
Yeah.
And we'll see how he feels. Perhaps he has, the next Tyreek in Malik and Garrett kind of paired together. So fun team
I
for
mean,
sure. Yeah. Yeah. Let's
and yeah, neighbors Wilson and
AMC.
yeah, it's tough. He's got
Yeah.
a good team.
Yeah, he does. How about this guy? This fellow.
Yeah. I mean, we already talked all about the drafting decision with Caleb. This is my favorite wide receiver draft I can ever remember. And while I'm disappointed I didn't get one of the top three guys, I got the number 5 guy on my list.
Okay.
I love Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah.
That is if I couldn't have one of those 3 guys, and then I had the guy in Kansas City, number 4. I think
Xavier.
Worthy's probably my 4th.
Yeah.
But then I got my 5th. I think Brian Thomas Jr. is great. I think by mid-season he's wide receiver 1 there. I mean, it's Gabe Davis. I mean, come on.
He looks awesome. He looks
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was definitely, it's just such a fun draft being the leftovers and rookies draft because you're taking a bunch of lottery picks and you're making a choice. Do I want to get like a solid Keenan Allen or do I want to go with Brian Thomas Jr. and hope he hits?
Yeah.
I picked Quentin Johnson last year thinking I'd won the world with Johnson for the rest of the next 10 years, and now neither on my roster,
Yeah.
And so it's just interesting how fast things happen in the league.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
anything
Jalen Wright, he was my number 5
okay.
Rookie running back. So thrilled to get him in 3rd round. One more slight anecdote about how excited I am about Caleb Williams. I've been playing a lot of NCAA 25 on the Xbox, the college game.
Yeah.
I decided I enjoyed it so much I wasn't even going to buy Madden this year. I was like, I don't need it. I got this football game. I'll buy Madden next year. Save my money.
Sure.
The night of the draft, I went on a drive with the guys. I came home. I bought Madden because I wanted to play with my new toy. I wanted to play with my new Caleb Williams toy. So I loaded the game, let it download all night, went to bed, got up at like 6:30 the next morning, and started a Bears dynasty.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
I just want my new toy.
Did you trade Rome immediately for just somebody else?
No, because I still love him. It's gonna sting just a little bit every time he scores.
Yeah.
Like knowing you're getting those points.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anything about your kicker or defense or what you did at tight end? Or just
I tried to go like a nice mix of old guys and young guys. I got some veterans where I can let the young guys develop. Like DeAndre Hopkins, he's going to be great in the locker room for the younger guys. Zay Flowers is still pretty young, and of course I got Xavier Legette and Brian Thomas Jr. the rookies. So we're looking at Hopkins to kind of mentor those guys.
That's great. You got to have that on your team, and you've wanted Nuke forever. You've wanted Nuke forever. You've wanted. I mean, he's you've kind of always had your eye on him. So great. Well, thanks.
Good player.
Thanks for giving us a big team breakdown. How did you feel about the dude abides? And just to give a shout out to him for showing up to the draft. I think that's really cool.
It was great. Yeah, I always expect Jeremy to go veteran over rookie. Like he seems to be like a real conservative drafter in that way. So I was almost as surprised as Chad when he took Jaden Daniels. Jeremy definitely has a type though. If you look at his 3 quarterbacks,
well, I just got to say this is a prime team to trade a quarterback to let's go Brandon because he's got 3 quarterbacks that I think are in the top 10.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really interesting to see what he does. But yeah, I just wanted to give you a quick time out there. Keep going. I love the breakdown.
Yeah, because Daniels and Richardson. I mean, we don't know. Like we haven't seen enough of either guy to know.
He could trade either one. He could trade either one right now for something awesome.
Probably, because they could both be, top 5 quarterbacks.
Or
they both have that. Or they could both be awful. But he's got Kyler as the insurance, and we know what Kyler is, and he's got better weapons.
Yeah.
So he's in a great spot, quarterback wise. But yeah, he's definitely got a type. Like those 3 guys are all fast, and they probably combined way less than Jared Lorenzen.
It's so interesting. I wasn't even listening to you. I was ready to respond. That's hilarious. I was saying he's got these quarterbacks that are young and injured, but his wide receiver are like the most veteran of vets. Like he's got 5 of the big. Like he's got no
Yeah,
rookies in that wide receiver core at all.
yeah. I thought Jeremy got the best rookie running back in Brooks. He's gonna have to wait on him, but I
Yeah,
mean that guy is, to me, that was the Middendorf pick. We'll get to that in a
yeah.
minute, I guess.
Okay.
But we'll see how he feels about having Goodwin and Mike Evans. I don't know about that strategy.
Yeah.
It's weird. I think Jeremy had a good draft, but it doesn't look like a playoff team.
Okay.
Uh,
It's super interesting. I just think that he's a trade waiting to happen, uh, and
yeah,
it could potentially flip the whole league. And you might trade an asset for Jaden or Richardson, and it could be something that would make your whole the next 10 years, or it
yeah,
could just be kicked to the curb quickly because
yeah. Just a landmine.
Richardson might keep getting hurt, and Jaden's so skinny that he
Yeah,
just might be out in week 2, just like Richardson was last year.
yeah.
So
Because Jaden Daniels, he goes to the contact. He
he does, man. And he
goes in.
weighs like 180 pounds, it looks like. The guy looks so
Yeah,
small to me. He looks awesome, but he looks small. So
yeah,
great.
yeah,
We have you speaking of the Pharisees, that was next on your list.
yeah. It's fine. His draft was fine. The team's fine. I
Okay,
don't
on
know.
to the next
I'm just kidding. John at the draft, he kept wanting me to talk about his team at the draft, and it's I don't know. Mixon is such a boring pick. I I saw you had him higher up on your list too. I think he's going to be really disappointed with that choice when he looks back at this draft.
Mhm.
He's 3 yards a carry, 3.5 yards a carry. I don't know. That, I don't know. Hawkinson in the fifth. I did like that pick. I kind of like Jordan Addison. If you can get past all the drunk driving. It's 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 Bijan and I guess Bijan and Lamar. That's all there is.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know. I
not.
don't like Debo. I think T Higgins could probably have a good year. I think he'll have a great year.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna stop the share just because I want to look at that first round again. If you could have redrafted for John, who do you think you would have drafted in his place at that position at 5?
You don't even have to show me. It's Jonathan Brooks.
Okay. Okay.
If I'm Middendorf, I am not playing this like I'm a contender this year.
Yeah.
I'm drafting pure upside.
Yeah.
And if I'm John right there, I'm either going Bowers or or Brooks.
Yeah, that was similar to what I was thinking. I thought he would go Bowers. I think maybe you and I have Bowers higher than the rest of the league.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I had Jonathan Brooks as my 6, right after Jaden Daniels. And so um it's interesting to me. Again, it's sort of fun to sort of set your draft board in ways that, and then to not know how other
Yeah,
people
no
value
reaction.
their players. Yeah, because you
That's tough.
can't know. You can't know
Yeah.
what the other people think. So,
No, because people are gonna surprise you every time.
yeah, exactly right. What about
Uh,
lonely 4 member Jeffrey Logan?
I thought Jeff did an outstanding job. You factor in how late his picks came. Singletary in the fifth. I mean, he got the starting running back for the Giants in the fifth round, which is equal to the 11th round. I mean,
Yeah,
that's great value.
yeah.
Down the board, just a ton of high upside guys. They just need 1 or 2 breaks to be starters.
Jeff loves rookies. He had to be
He
absolutely
does.
just hating the draft because he probably wanted all of the rookie wide receivers, which I think he's
Yeah.
done before. I think he's picked like his first 6 picks as rookie wide receivers, and he didn't get a chance to pick some of those guys this
No,
year.
but the one he got has a
Yeah,
chance to be awesome.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
he's uh, Adonai Mitchell. He was the character concerns are the only reason he fell. So if he, they don't mind that stuff in Indianapolis. They had Marvin Harrison killing people. So you could do whatever you want if you can play Adonai Mitchell. I think it's a great pick. I,
Yeah,
I love Jeff's draft.
yeah. I really hope that Sam Darnold he picked there turns out to be pretty awesome myself. So, which brings us to the Karate Kid. Uh,
Yeah.
we've talked about my team, but any other commentary from your notes?
Yeah, my notes are just about Odunze being an outrage. That's
Yeah.
all I wrote. And I have like a whole paragraph about all that we've recapped already. It makes me
Okay.
sick that he's on your team. Like, I'm not going to be able to trade for him now.
Never.
Anybody else got him? I think I could have traded for him, but I
No,
get no Rome now.
He's locked in. He's
on your
locked in
stupid
to the
team.
karate to the Karate Kid. Again, I would have taken some different picks. I have so many running backs. I wouldn't have loaded up on those. I would have tried to get a better backup quarterback. I would have tried to get a backup tight end.
Yeah,
But I just put skill players into my little queue list, hoping that I would land on a couple that I may have liked. Uh, I mean, I put Antonio Gibson. I thought I put him so far down he would never get drafted. And I was like, how did I get him? I put him like
well, now
so.
you got some guys to cut for the waiver wire people.
Yeah, I think that's probably. I don't know when the waiver wire
Uh,
starts. It may have already started today.
I got a guy today.
Oh, who'd you get? Tell us.
I got Dylan Labe out of the rookie running back in behind Samir White.
Okay. Cool.
Because I don't believe in Samir White.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
I I'm pretty excited. This silly throwaway is that I'm pretty excited to have Justin Tucker. I've always been kind of jealous of Justin
Oh
Tucker
yeah.
keeping on making field goals. Uh, I had him way higher than the other kickers in my queue, thinking like, well, that might be kind of fun, you know. And
You got him.
since I didn't know who I was going to get, I was like, you know what? If I got one elite player as a starter all year long with a late bye week, that might be kind of cool to like not have to spend my free agent bucks just kind of constantly picking up whoever was
Yeah.
playing a bad team and then getting frustrated that they weren't as good as I wanted them to be. So I was pretty excited about that. But we can
Well,
move on.
you got Miles Garrett on defense. That was
Yeah,
great.
yeah. He was high on my he hasn't been ranked really high on the preseason rankings as far as the Browns seem to be like middle of the road, but I think they're
No, they're gonna be tough.
yeah, I think so too. And I
Yeah.
think no one wants to play him. So
No.
uh well we now go to
Yeah, let's see
gotta
Jay.
say to our friend Jay, I don't know if Jay watches this show, but I was pretty disappointed in the logo change. I have loved his
Oh.
25-year long logo being the same. And I actually kind of think about when I see Jay in my mind, I don't know if I
Hmm.
see Jay the person. I may see Jay the Gridiron Vipers logo that I've loved so much through the years. So that's my first
That's
start.
funny.
But take us through the team and some of your notes here.
I love Jay's pick at the time, Dontavian Wicks. That's one where he slipped by me. He was on my list and I didn't realize he wasn't drafted yet. I That one I was really mad about.
Yeah.
I wish I would have taken him. He's got two of my favorite rookie running backs with Ray Davis and Blake Corum.
Yeah.
Um, I Rasheed Rice, that was a great pick because it looks like he's not going to be in any trouble,
No, it
not
doesn't
till
look like
after the year.
I think
So
he's gonna be so good. I love him.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
so
I
sad I
think that
couldn't
was
keep him. Or I didn't want to keep him, I guess. Yeah, so
that was a great pick. The the one I wonder is, I thought Sam Howell was a real curious pick. Uh, I mean, he's the backup behind Geno Smith. Geno was fine, but I mean, I guess you can beat him out for it. Maybe that's what Jay's counting on. But I thought Howell was pretty inaccurate last year. Jay tends to be one of the best drafters, so yeah, maybe he's seeing something that I don't see there. But that seemed odd to me to pick up a third quarterback that was the backup.
yeah, me too. I just figured it was a way that he was gonna at some point he'll be on the waiver wire sooner rather than later. It's kind of what I thought. I mean, at some
Yeah,
point you need to be able to like pick up somebody, but his tight end kicker defense, their bye weeks are all super late. So maybe he's not having to
yeah,
do that. So
yeah. Jay's
cool.
gonna be tough. He's got a good team.
Yeah, he does. He always does.
Yeah,
What about our friend Shane?
pretty good draft. I liked most of the guys he picked up. I preferred some of the other guys that were available. But if you're really in on a guy, you can't wait in a weird draft like ours. Like the Tajik Spears pick was probably, I thought that was a good one. I mean, he went hard for him. He liked it. He made a commitment there because I think Pollard kept or was he still out there? I don't know. I loved Spears. I'm not in on Keon Coleman. I thought that was a mistake. I mean, the upside's there. The upside's there to be a home run, especially I love pairing him up with a quarterback. So he's got Josh Allen, if that works. But that's a home run, and that team's scary if that works. But man, I didn't like that early. Tight end's pretty weak. I feel like. Um, Otherwise, really scary at every spot. Potent backups up and down the board.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see this season what Ayuk does because if he stays in San Francisco and is
Yeah,
no longer disgruntled, uh, obviously he's an every week starter, but it'll be interesting to see if he goes somewhere else. what will happen to him.
Oh yeah, I think it's bad news if he goes anywhere else.
Yeah.
I would definitely be rooting for him to stay there.
I wonder, my only critique of Shane's roster is that there's only one Detroit Lion, and I really feel like he disappointed some of his favorite team. Usually there's at least
Yeah,
four. I always feel like a minimum of four Lions.
there's two.
And oh, I didn't see that. Oh, Jameson Williams. Oh, that's right. I remember seeing
Yeah,
that. Oh, sorry about that. Well,
yeah,
there you go. There you go. He's only two shy. Uh, but no Lions defense or Lions
yeah,
kicker. It's just too bad. I sort of feel like those should be auto slots for Shane.
yeah. Jameer Gibbs, though. I mean, you can't have Amon Ra. Give me Gibbs.
Yeah,
That's a pretty great guy to have.
that's right. That's right. Uh,
Yeah.
well, I was gonna hope the next team was Amon Ra's Galloping Ghost, but no, we're going to the Hellhounds. So tell
Well,
us
I
tell us
have
the Hellhounds team.
breaking news to tell you.
Okay.
I've been sitting on this. You're going to want to write this down because there's a lot of players involved in this trade, and I want to see your reaction live
When did this happen?
this afternoon.
Whoa! This is
Yeah,
breaking news. Let me get a piece of
yeah.
paper here. All these are funeral programs. So let me okay,
Sorry,
I,
Grandma.
I got one. I got one.
Okay, so John Mendenhall's first four picks in 2025,
Okay.
first, second, third, and fourth.
Okay.
Xavier Worthy, Michael Pittman Jr., Raheem Mostert. Four, Josh's 10th
No, no, no,
and
no, 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 no,
11th.
no. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
1, 2, 3, 4 plus Xavier
Uh-huh.
plus Pittman and
Uh-huh.
who else?
Raheem Mostert.
I mean, okay, an elite Miami running back. Okay. Oh
Yeah.
my, this is a
Right?
huge blockbuster. Has it been posted on the message board or is this breaking
Not
news?
yet.
So
Not
one,
yet. Not on the
two,
board
three,
yet.
four, Xavier, Pittman, and
Uh-huh.
Mostert to Josh.
To Josh. Josh's 10th and 11th next year. So John's just making up some picks at that point.
Okay.
Tyler Lockett,
Okay.
Christian Watson,
Okay.
and I want you to guess the third player.
Oh, well, it's got to be Tyreek, CeeDee Lamb, or Amon-Ra St. Brown, because those are three of the top four wide receivers in the league right now. It better not be
Yeah.
Tua. Uh,
No, you're right with your first guess is on the money. It's one of those three. What do you think?
if I wanted to pick the most elite of those, I would rank them CD, Amon-Ra, and Tyreek Hill. So I'm gonna say it was for Tyreek Hill.
CeeDee Lamb is a hellhound.
Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay. Keep talking about this. I'm going to the rosters aren't updated. I was gonna go in and
No,
reshot so we could see this.
no, I asked Chris not to post it so I could break this to you live on the show.
Okay. I'm reeling. So 1, 2, 3, 4, Xavier, Pittman, and Mostert
Yeah.
for CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
Okay, I have who I'd rather have on that side. Who would you rather have on that side?
I think John won the trade. No, I think Josh won the trade, but I wouldn't have done it.
Oh, good commentary. I'm gonna stop
Yeah.
screaming to let people see you say that one more time because that's really good.
That it was that good.
That's
Yeah.
really good. Yeah, yeah. Say it again.
Yeah. So I think Josh won the trade. I think he got more assets back than he gave away. I would not have done it. I would not have done it. Not if I'm trying to repeat. Not if I want to be champion. I don't that what made Josh unstoppable was those three receivers together. And now he
Absolutely.
doesn't have that.
Absolutely.
And he's got a ton of other really good players, but he doesn't have that anymore.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. And CD just signed
Yeah,
to lock him in. The
big
reason I
deal.
rank CD first is because I really feel like Tyreek's kind of on and off the field. You know,
He's hurt.
obviously character issues there. I
Yeah,
think Amon-Ra St.
babies.
Brown. Yeah, my goodness. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is awesome. I mean, I've loved him forever. I just think he's
Yeah,
just such a great player. So still having those two players, but yeah, the fear you have when looking at Josh is just being like, he's got 3 of the top 4 or 5 wide receivers in the league.
Yeah.
He's going to win every game.
He's going to beat you at receiver every week. You got to try to make up the difference somewhere else.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
now I don't think he's got that over everybody anymore.
Wow, this is shocking news.
Yeah.
I wish we could portal in Josh and Mendenhall to make him talk about.
Yeah.
That is absolutely huge. Yeah, I would rather I don't know. I like your take. I don't even have a take. It's so fresh. It's so new. It's just shocking. I can't even and of course the screen share doesn't even matter. Like we don't even know how to we can't talk about these teams at all because they're just so shockingly different. So
yeah. I was going to mention that Jeff has the reputation as the rookie drafter, but man, you give Mendenhall some high draft picks and he goes hard for the rookies. His first 4 picks, all rookies.
tell me. Yeah, who do you get?
I know you need the other screen up here. I got to like dig through it. I didn't write Trey Benson,
Xavier Worthy, Lad McConkey for sure. Those were 3 of the 4.
Yeah, maybe it was just 3.
I don't see the 4th.
Okay, so neither of us can count today. But I won't be like 100. I won't be really shocked if McConkey is the best rookie receiver this year.
Oh, interesting.
He's hurt right now, so that kind of throws cold water on that. But I don't think anybody's in a better situation.
Yeah.
If he's good, he'll shine. You know, there's all the opportunities. So I love that pick. But yeah, it's I don't know.
I'm really let's move to Josh's roster before we finish with Chris, just because he'll have 2 Mostert and Tyreek. So he'll have 3. He'll have the starting backfield and top wide receiver for Miami.
Well, you're forgetting a pretty important piece of that backfield. He's got both pieces of it now. It's got Achane and Mostert.
Oh my gosh. Okay, my goodness. I'm just so thrown for a loop.
Yeah. He's just all in on the Dolphins.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait for week 1. I want to know who Miami's playing right now. Like I mean, that is it's a stunning. And I don't know when he picked Geno Smith, but I think Geno's a pretty good backup for Tua for that insurance policy in case Tua gets hurt.
Jay doesn't think so.
Oh, he doesn't. Tell me about that.
No, he drafted Sam Howell. I don't think Jay drafts Sam Howell if he thinks Geno Smith is a good backup.
I don't know what to think about Jay's pick of Sam Howell. He needs to answer for it on the message board.
Man, Josh getting Worthy though, like that could be really annoying. Like Andy Reid's got a real good record with fast dudes. Like Tyreek, of course. Also, Deshaun Jackson was awesome under Andy Reid. So if anybody can make a fast dude work, I guess he couldn't make who's that guy they had that could dropped everything, but it doesn't matter. I love Rashid Shaheed on Josh's team.
Anthony Thomas wasn't from Oregon Duck that they drafted.
I don't know. Like Rachaad White is like we've gone over him so much. Like he's like the girl next door that you don't want to date. But
it's a vanilla ice cream cone. Like nobody goes to Brahms and orders a vanilla ice cream cone. I want a vanilla ice cream cone. I don't want the waffle cone. Give me the sugar. Give me the sugar cone. 1 scoop of vanilla, please.
Yeah,
it's delicious, but no one's gonna go for that. So
I like that analogy. That's good.
Okay, let's talk about Chris, and then I think we're to the end. So it's got to be at least an hour and a half by now. I'm guessing this is going to be a long show. It's been so fun to talk about. Let's conclude with the commish.
Yeah. I cannot give a positive draft grade to Mr. 4 Raiders. I like Chuba Hubbard. He's going to get plenty of opportunity until Brooks gets up to speed. And then who knows, maybe Brooks has a setback. Brandon Cook seems like the number 2 target in Dallas. So that's probably pretty good. But man, I don't know. There's some. All right, Chris, I am talking directly to you now. I am talking directly to you. You don't need to draft a second kicker. There is absolutely no reason to ever draft a second kicker, Chris. Best ball, yes, get a second kicker. But what are you going to do, man? Come on. That's all I have on his draft.
Second kicker was an interesting choice. And the name of the four Raiders is, I think that we should call the Mahoney the four Raiders, as long as he has four Raiders on his team for the rest of the season. I absolutely love that. Maybe he had positive memories of your guys' trip to Las Vegas this
Oh no.
this last season. Oh, that's great. Oh,
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah. That's all I
Oh
got.
man. But hey, thanks for the draft recap, Aaron. It meant a lot
Yeah.
to get caught up on what went on. Thanks for holding that news, not publishing it on the message
Yes.
board until this moment. A breaking news story. This is a Wednesday night, it's 9 p.m. Before I leave the office right now, I'll try to get this uploaded to YouTube and then onto the message board so people can find about
Oh,
this
great.
trade live on the show. Thanks for your notes back in March. I hate that you
Yeah.
swept the leg on JJ McCarthy. I hate you. Worst of luck to the Cobras all year long, and
Yeah.
it's good to be back on the show.
Man, so good to be back with you, Jason. Good to see you.
Good to
We'll
see
see you
you.
guys. We're gonna do a week one preview next week. It'll be a much shorter show, thankfully. But yeah, so look for us later this week.
We'd
Next
have
week.
no idea. There's no clock on Zoom, so we don't know how long this gets. So hope everyone's enjoyed the 2.5 hour show. I sure have. And
Yeah.
we'll see you next week.